We see Sue, who is sleeping in her room and wakes and finds her husband Hyun sitting on bed. He says someone's inside and goes to sleep, and Sue hears a noise and decides to go out to investigate. She sees one door is open and wind is causing it to make noise, and then she hears another noise. She sees her dog Pepper and takes her away and tries to wake her husband, but he is snoring. Next day, Hyun wakes up and gets ready to leave for work, and we see he is an actor and Sue stays at home. She is pregnant and she hears someone is at door and sees her new downstairs neighbor Min has come. Min gives her a welcome gift and says from past 1 week she has been hearing loud noises. Sue thinks it must because of last night and apologizes and later goes to work and meets Hyun. She tells him about Min and Hyun says before her an old man lived there who uses to complain a lot. He also complained about noise and Hyun is happy he is gone, and Sue asks Hyun what happened at night. He doesn't remember saying anything and Hyun says someone's inside is a line from his new script. They both watch his show together and later Sue reads his script and sees the same line and feels relaxed. She asks Hyun if he still likes her since she is pregnant, and Hyun says yes in half-sleep state. He scratches his face and Sue stops him and Hyun scratches it again rapidly, and Sue stops him and sleeps. Later she wakes him for his shoot and sees he has torn his face with scratching and has blood on his hand. She gets scared and applies some medicine and asks to go to doctor, but Hyun leaves for work. He says he is late and it is not that bad, and Sue sees blood on floor and follows it and finds Pepper hiding. Pepper is scared and hiding under bed, and at work Sue finds reason for scratching of face during sleep. She comes to know it is due to sleep disorder and comes home to find Hyun waiting for her. She comes to know his role has been cut due to injury and Hyun decides to become real estate agent. She tells him to pursue his acting career and motivates him, and Hyun brings some donuts for her. Later she sees Hyun sleeping and puts some mittens on his hand to stop him from scratching. Suddenly Hyun gets up and goes in kitchen and Sue follows him and sees him eating raw food from fridge. He feels like vomiting and Hyun drinks water weirdly and stares at Pepper when it barks at him. Sue follows him and sees Hyun opens a window and tries to jump out, and Sue catches him and pulls him in. Hyun wakes up and sees Sue crying and comes to know what happened and decides to go to hospital. Next day, they install bars on windows and Sue's mother gives her a shaman's card to call her. Sue doesn't believe in all this and even throws the talisman her mother brought, which upsets her. Hyun gets his tests done and doctor says there is some chemical imbalance in his nerve cells. As a result, some patients scratch their face or talk in sleep and do sleepwalking, and this is normal. He suggests to keep the house safe and remove dangerous things and not drink any alcohol and sleep early. He advises them to darken the room and take medicines on time, and we see them following this. Hyun goes to sleep and Sue wakes up next morning and sees Hyun is in bed and is happy and goes out. She finds food scattered on floor near fridge and sees Pepper's hair on it and opens the fridge and screams. Few days later, Sue delivers her baby and her mother asks her to divorce Hyun and get a new life. Sue says Hyun is sick and has started taking medicines and will recover soon and later leaves for home. Hyun drives her home and says he has found a rented home to live in till he becomes normal. Sue says no and they come back home and Hyun installs bell on bedroom door to alert Sue. He decides to sleep in sleeping bag and later Sue sees Min has got her son a dog. She sees the dog is identical to Pepper and feels sad remembering him and how he died. She reads articles about sleepwalking and feels scared for her daughter and gives Hyun sleeping pills. She sleeps outside the room but is unable to sleep and goes in bathroom and sleeps in tub. Suddenly, she hears the bell ring and Hyun forcefully tries to open the bathroom door but is unable. Later, Sue opens the door and sees Hyun urinating in the hall in sleep and is worried about her child. They go to meet doctor and Hyun asks to change his medicine to something powerful. The doctor doesn't agree, and Sue throws the bottle on him in anger, and they come back home. Hyun says he will find a solution, and Sue meets Min, who says it's okay to quit her marriage. At night, Hyun goes to sleep in car, but Sue asks him to come in, and they install a lock on bedroom door. Sue locks the door, and next day, Sue's mother brings a shaman to their house to check it. Shaman does a ritual and says ghosts enter humans when they sleep, as they are in weak state then. She comes near Hyun and says the ghost has attached himself on Hyun and wants to live with Sue. She says the ghost wants no dogs and crying babies and wants to live in silence with Sue. She says to find the name of person who loved Sue, so she can do ritual, and gives them some talisman. She says they must find the person soon and leaves, and at night Sue checks social media and makes list. He finds boys who liked her and at night discusses with Hyun if ghost is real, but Hyun laughs and says no. Sue says she checked her ex-boyfriends and found none have died and decide to sleep and hear something. They hear noise from down, and Hyun says the old man living down also liked Sue before he went away. Sue goes to meet Min next day and gives her spare dog food, and Min makes her meet her son. Sue asks about the old man, and Min says he was her father and recently passed away, and hence they moved here. Her son shows the room where he died, and Sue adds his name to list as Park Chun and looks at Hyun. At night, she tries to talk to Park when Hyun is in his sleep, but gets no reply and sleeps in kitchen. She stays awake all night, and Hyun wakes up normal and finds the talisman under his bed. Sue tells him to keep it back, and Hyun asks her to sleep for some time and carries her to bed. He forces her to sleep, and Sue sleeps and gets up late evening hearing her daughter cry. She sees Hyun sleeping and finds the baby missing and goes out and finds it in a dumpster. She wakes up realizing it was a dream and goes out to check the baby and finds it missing in real. He checks the fridge and sees a cooking pot and feels the baby is in it and throws it and starts searching. Hyun comes out of bathroom after bathing the baby and sees Sue has burnt her hand and washes it. He goes to bring some ice and Sue hits him with pot, and Hyun gets unconscious and later wakes up. He sees Sue is sitting on him with a knife and asks him what he wants and threatens to kill him. Hyun says the doctor called him and says they are changing his medicine and he'll get better now. Few months pass and we see Hyun was in hospital taking treatment and doctor says he is normal now. Hyun comes to know Sue is also in hospital and goes to see her with his daughter and her mother. She had a breakdown and finds she was discharged from the hospital, but her phone is not reachable. He leaves his daughter with Sue's mother and goes back home and sees the house is covered in talismans. Sue comes out of her room and asks him to sit and starts the projector, and Hyun asks her to sit down. Hyun says he is fully cured now and there is no ghost, but Sue doesn't listen to him and starts projector. She says spirits have 10 days to go to heaven, and Min complained to them on October 25th about noise. She says noise had been coming for a week, which is October 18th, and she shows Park's death certificate. Park died on October 8th and turned into ghost on 18th when he didn't go to heaven and stayed back. On October 25th, Hyun even said someone's inside, which meant some is inside him and not in house. Hyun doesn't believe this, and Sue says possessed people feel itchy and eat lots of raw food. Then they take revenge, and Sue says Park killed Pepper and asks Hyun to believe her as she doesn't want to go back to mental hospital. Hyun says it doesn't matter as he is cured now, and Sue shows a picture where they did a ritual. Hyun was lying naked on ground and shaman did her ritual when he was sleeping, and Hyun is angry. Hyun says Sue has gone crazy and asks her to stop, and Sue says even after ritual Park hasn't gone back. Hyun begs her to stop and says he is cured now, and Sue says they made a mark on his body in ritual. This stops ghosts to possess him for 50 days, and Hyun checks his back, and Sue says today is last day. The ghost will come back, and Sue says after 100 days the ghost will live forever with them and never go back. Hyun decides to leave the house, and Sue says they have to send Park back and throw something at him. She says he can't run like this and asks him to believe her and stay back, and Hyun decides to stay. He sits down and Sue sees only 15 minutes are left and says something in Hyun's ear which he has to do. Hyun goes and opens the fridge and sees Min's dog's body, and Sue says they are even now, and Hyun vomits. Sue says she will go to any length to protect her daughter, and Hyun sees Min is captured in bathroom. Sue drags her out and threatens to drill a hole in head if Park doesn't leave Hyun, and Min cries for help. Min asks her father to leave Hyun's body, and Hyun is shocked to see Sue behave like this. Sue says if anything happens to her daughter, she will kill Min and her son, and sees only 5 minutes are left. She begins drilling hole in Min's head, and Hyun says he is leaving and hears police is at door. He grabs Sue and takes the drill machine and sees Sue is still asking Park to leave, and he decides to go. He tells Min to take care of herself and his grandson, and walks towards a wall and asks to go back. Sue sees the window open and sees someone leave her home, and sees Hyun fall on the ground. She goes to Hyun, who says Park is gone, and Sue sees few minutes are left for 12 and hugs Hyun. She says it's finally over and goes to sleep, and we don't know whether Ghost was real or Hyun was acting.